It all began like any other episode of The Graham Norton Show. Bright lights, laughter from the audience turning into applause. Graham Norton, with his trademark smile as warm as a cup of tea on a cold London evening, shook Johnny Depp's hand. Depp sat opposite him in his usual attire, a black suit, an unbuttoned shirt, silver rings glistening under the studio lights. His hair was slightly disheveled, his eyes showed signs of fatigue, but his smile was as steady as that of a pirate who knows the sea. The audience dispersed, but the warmth of the crowd remained in the studio, the scent of perfume, the rustle of clothes. But no one knew that in a few minutes, the whole world would be discussing this scandalous interview. "Great show," Johnny, Norton said, leaning forward. His voice was soft, the Irish lilt adding charm. "You always bring the magic. The crowd loves you." Depp nodded, taking a sip from the glass of water on the table. His fingers gripped the glass tighter than necessary. "Thanks, Graham. It's always fun. You make it easy." The studio lights dimmed but didn't go out. Technicians whispered backstage, the camera on its tripod hummed softly, like a third presence in the conversation. The air was cool, the air conditioning steady, but there was a tension like a guitar string stretched to its limit. Norton adjusted his tie, his eyes glinting with curiosity. "You know, after all these years, you're still an enigma. People want to know more." Depp smiled, but the corners of his mouth didn't lift. "Enigmas are my job. Acting, right?" Norton chuckled softly, but the laugh didn't reach his eyes. He picked up his coffee mug, steam rising like cigarette smoke. "True. But tonight, you talked about pirates like it was yesterday. What keeps you in the game after everything?" Depp set the glass down. His ring clinked against the table. "Passion. And people like you, reminding me why it matters." A pause. Norton looked at him, unblinking. The camera shifted slightly, focusing. The studio felt smaller, the walls closer. Depp leaned back in his chair, posture relaxed, but his shoulders were tense. "Passion," Norton repeated, as if tasting the word. "That's a word you use a lot in interviews. But after these last few years, the trials, the press. How do you keep it alive?" Depp raised an eyebrow. His voice dropped lower. "Life's not a script, Graham. Sometimes passion is survival." Norton nodded, his smile lingering, but his eyes sharpened. He sipped his coffee, the mug clinking against the saucer. "Survival. Interesting choice of word. Some say you've weathered a storm." Depp stared at the glass, the water rippling from a faint tremor in his hand. "Storms come and go. The trick is not drowning." Silence. A technician coughed backstage, but the sound faded. Norton leaned closer, his voice soft, almost sympathetic. "But you didn't drown. You're here, on the show. People are watching." Depp looked up. "People always watch. That's part of the game." "The game," Norton said, nodding. "But sometimes the game gets real. Your last case, with Amber. It changed a lot, didn't it?" Depp's jaw tightened. His fingers tapped the armrest, quiet but rhythmic. "Changed. But truth comes out." Norton smiled wider, but it was a smile like a mask. "Truth. Another popular word. You talked about it in court. What makes truth truth, Johnny?" Depp swallowed, his throat bobbing. "Facts. Not stories people make up." A pause. The camera breathed, its lens gleaming. Norton set his mug down, hands folding in his lap. "Facts. But in Hollywood, facts are like scripts. They get rewritten." Depp laughed shortly, but it was dry. "You're right. But I don't rewrite. I live them." Norton nodded, his eyes unwavering. "Live them. That takes strength. After everything, the divorce, the allegations. How do you hold on to control?" Depp leaned forward, his voice quieter. "Control's an illusion, Graham. Especially when the press plays by its own rules." Silence. The water in Depp's glass stood still. Norton adjusted the microphone on his collar, though it was off. Rules. You've broken them in roles. Jack Sparrow's a rebel. Depp smiled, but his eyes darkened. Rebels win, don't they? Or lose everything? Norton laughed softly. Sometimes both. But you won the case. People celebrated. Depp nodded, but his fingers gripped the armrest. Celebrated. But scars stay. A pause. The light above flickered, as if from a power surge. Norton leaned in, his voice more intimate. Scars. You rarely talk about them. What hurts the most? Depp looked at him directly. Lies. When people you love turn you into a monster. Norton didn't look away. A monster. But in films, you play them with love. Depp sipped his water, the glass trembling. In films, I control the ending. Silence. The camera shifted closer, its hum louder. Norton smiled, but it was thin. Control. There's that word again. Have you lost it? Depp set the glass down, the clink sharp like a gunshot. Everyone loses. The question is how you take it back. Norton nodded slowly. Take it back. Through truth? Depp looked at the camera, as if forgetting it was there. Truth's all you've got. A pause. Norton adjusted his tie, his fingers steady. But truth has sides. Your side. Amber told hers. Depp's jaw clenched harder. His voice sharpened. Her side's a story. Mine's facts. Norton raised an eyebrow. A story. But stories sell. Your career, after this. Has it changed? Depp leaned back, eyes glinting. Career's not everything. Reputation is. Silence. The water in Depp's glass rippled from a vibration in the floor. Norton leaned closer, his voice soft but pressing. Reputation. You fought for it. Why? Depp looked at him, the pause stretching. Because lies kill slower than bullets. Norton smiled, but his eyes were cold. Lies. You've accused a lot of people of them. Depp swallowed, his fingers tightening on his ring. Not a lot. Just those who deserve it. A pause. The camera breathed, the light sharper. Norton set his mug aside. Deserve. Strong word. After the trial, do you feel relief? Depp nodded, but slowly. Relief. But not the end. Norton leaned closer. Not the end. Why? Depp stared at the glass, his reflection trembling. Because people still believe the lies. Silence. Norton didn't move. People. And you? Depp looked up, his voice quiet but tense. I believe in truth. Even when it hurts. A pause. The light flickered again. Norton nodded. Hurts. Tell me about the hurt. Depp's jaw tightened, his eyes darkened. His fingers tapped faster. Hurts when you're betrayed. When the world watches and judges. Norton smiled thinly. Betrayed. Like in a marriage? Depp froze. The silence grew heavy. His voice dropped to a near whisper. Marriage isn't a show, Graham. But you're making it one. Norton didn't look away. A show. We're all in one. Depp sipped his water, the glass clinking louder. Some are actors. Others are directors. A pause. The camera shifted, its focus tightening. Norton adjusted his microphone. Directors. Do you feel like a victim? Depp looked straight at him. Victim? No. Warrior. Norton nodded. Warrior. But warriors fall. Depp smiled coldly. Fall. But they get up. Silence. Norton leaned in. Get up. With whose help? Depp gripped the armrest. Mine. And the truth's. A pause. The light grew brighter, like an interrogation. Norton smiled. Truth. But in your story. Amber said something else. Depp froze, his eyes flashing with anger. The silence stretched, heavy as a storm cloud. His voice cut like a blade. Amber said a lot. But lies don't become truth just because you repeat them. Norton didn't blink. Silence. The camera breathed. The air thickened. Depp's jaw clenched, the pause lasting seconds but feeling like forever. Something broke, the mask of composure cracked, and beneath it, pain flickered. Norton held his gaze, unflinching. The silence stretched, the cameras hummed the only sound, like a heartbeat in the room. Depp's eyes narrowed, the flicker of pain hardening into something sharper, defiance, perhaps, or raw exposure. You call it truth, Norton said, his voice even, measured. But truth doesn't need PR. Depp leaned forward, his ring clinking against the armrest like a warning. Sometimes it does. If people won't hear it otherwise. The air thickened further. The cool draft from the vents doing nothing to ease it. Norton's smile faded, replaced by a neutral mask, professional but probing. He set his coffee mug down with deliberate slowness, the ceramic base scraping faintly against the table. Hear it. But whose version? The court sided with you, Johnny. That's a win. Depp's laugh was bitter, low in his throat. A win. Wins don't erase the damage. They just stop the bleeding. Norton nodded, his fingers steepled now, pressing gently against his chin. The light overhead cast shadows across his face, making his eyes seem deeper. Damage. Let's talk about that. The headlines painted you as volatile. Abusive, even. How does that sit? Depp's jaw tightened again, his fingers digging into the leather of the chair. The camera shifted imperceptibly, zooming in, as if sensing the shift. Sit? It burns, Graham. Like acid. Because it's not me. It's a caricature they built to sell papers. Norton didn't blink. A caricature. But you fed it, didn't you? The drinking, the parties. Your own words and texts, harsh, unfiltered. Depp's eyes flashed, his voice rising just a fraction. Unfiltered? That's life. Not everyone polishes their edges for the camera. But twist it, and suddenly I'm the villain. The pause was electric. A technician in the shadows shifted, but no one intervened. Norton's voice stayed calm, an anchor in the rising tide. Villain. You've played plenty. Edward Scissorhands, Sweeney Todd. Art imitating life? Depp shook his head, a strand of hair falling across his forehead. His hand swept it back, the motion abrupt. Art's escape. Life's the cage. And she turned the key. Norton leaned in, his tone softening, almost confiding. Amber. You avoid saying her name. Why? Depp froze for a beat, then exhaled sharply. The water in his glass rippled again, untouched. Because names give power. And she's had enough. Silence descended, heavy as fog. The camera breathed steadily, its lens a silent witness. Norton's eyes softened, but he pressed on. Power. That's what this is about, isn't it? Losing it, fighting for it back. Depp's voice cracked slightly, the first real fracture. Damn right. She took my name, my work, my peace. Painted me as a monster to hide her own chaos. Norton tilted his head, his voice a gentle prod. Chaos. Yours or hers? The evidence showed bruises, texts, recordings. Depp slammed his palm on the table, not hard, but enough to make the glass jump. Water sloshed over the rim. Evidence? Selective clips, out of context. You think I don't have scars too? Invisible ones? The room felt smaller, the lights harsher, like spotlights in an interrogation. Norton's posture remained unchanged, but his eyes gleamed with intensity. Scars. Show them, Johnny. The world saw hers. Why not yours? Depp's breath came quicker, his chest rising and falling. He glanced at the camera, then back, as if deciding. Fine. You want truth? It started with love, twisted into control. Fights, yes. But her hands weren't clean. She hit first, provoked, lied under oath. I lost roles, friends, my damn dignity. For what? Her narrative. Norton nodded slowly, absorbing. Narrative. But you sued. You dragged it into the light. Depp's laugh was hollow now, echoing in the empty studio. Light? That trial was a circus. Cameras everywhere, memes, think pieces. I won, but at what cost? My privacy shredded. The tension coiled tighter, each word a turn of the screw. Norton's voice dropped, intimate. Cost? Was it worth it? Depp met his eyes, unblinking, the pain raw now, unguarded. Worth it? To clear my name? Yes. But it broke me open. Showed the world the mess inside. Addiction, depression, the real monsters. Silence again, profound. The camera hummed louder, as if amplifying the void. Norton pressed one last time. Monsters. Do you regret any of it? Depp leaned back, exhausted, his voice a whisper. Regret? Every day. But regret doesn't change facts. She abused the system, played the victim. I was the punchline. Norton's expression shifted, empathy, perhaps, or calculation. Victim. You said you're a warrior. Warriors don't play victims. Depp's eyes blazed. I'm not playing. I'm surviving. And if speaking now makes me vulnerable, so be it. The truth hurts, but lies kill. The climax hung there, words suspended. Norton sat back, the energy shifting, the confrontation peaking in that raw admission. Then, abruptly, Depp stood. His chair scraped against the floor, the sound jarring. He straightened his jacket, rings catching the light one last time. That's enough, Graham. Show's over. Norton rose too, extending a hand, but Depp ignored it. He turned toward the exit, footsteps echoing in the cavernous studio. The camera followed him for a moment, then panned back to Norton, who stood alone under the dimming lights. The feed cut. Technicians murmured, packing up. Norton picked up his mug, the coffee cold now, and sipped anyway. Outside, the night air hit Depp like a wave. He lit a cigarette, the flame flickering in his shaking hand. Paparazzi lights flashed from afar, but he slipped into a waiting car, vanishing into London's streets. By morning, clips leaked online. Hashtags trended, hashtag DeppUnfiltered, hashtag Norton confrontation. Media outlets dissected every pause, every flinch. Depp breaks silence post-trial, screamed headlines. Fans rallied, critics pounced, accusations of bitterness, defenses of vulnerability. The world buzzed, opinions fracturing like glass. Norton issued a statement, a candid moment after the show. Depp stayed silent, his team declining comment. In the quiet aftermath, as viral videos looped, one truth lingered unspoken: vulnerability had cracked the facade, but control? That slipped away in the light. When the lights finally dimmed for good, all that remained was the echo. He walked away, but the storm followed.